if it's not a must to partner, don't.
What is your take, and do you still think we're still under the yoke or the remnants of the yoke of apartheid in business?
Our target was to set ourselves apart and become a more of a lifestyle brand and be more distinguished in that space and be able to play with our price.
Tastes kind of cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll have a taste.
Yeah.
I like to look at boxers and how they always say, keep dancing in the ring. Stay on your toes.
Mm.
Don't be flat-footed. Don't be comfortable in this ring. You're going to get knocked out. Don't be comfortable. So
This is Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We enthuse, we energize, we inspire, and we empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes in BW and beyond.
Hello and welcome, dear viewer and listener, to another exciting episode of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. I've come to Mzansi for you, and I've come to meet trailblazers, difference makers, and of course successful entrepreneurs who are making waves here in South Africa and across the subcontinent. And I have one such entrepreneur who's going to be meeting you momentarily. His name is Mnqobi Mazibuko. I hope I'm saying the name correctly. And we're talking about serial entrepreneurship here, where somebody has had a degree of success in various areas, including music, including hospitality, including water, and many other areas where he's active. And I'm sure you will derive a lot of life lessons from this. And our objective, as always, is to energize, empower, enthuse, and inspire you. And a little bit of housekeeping. I have my book, Nuggets of Grit. It's available at Exclusive Books. Please pass by there and grab a copy for $350. It's also available from the first floor of Mogobe Plaza, our building in the center of the CBD. And that having been said, welcome, and do the honorable thing. Strike that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and of course give us a couple of likes. We really appreciate being in touch with you, and that's how we cope with these algorithms in this space. That having been said, welcome to the studio, Mr. Mnqobi Bayede Mazibuko. Am I saying it correctly?
almost Mnqobi.
Yeah.
Mnqobi Mazibuko.
Okay.
Yeah. Bayede is actually Mnqobi Bayede Mazibuko.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about yourself in terms of your background, academic, history, the streets, and so on.
Yeah, I'm actually a student of the streets more than the walls, the four walls and classrooms. So like you said earlier, my name is Mnqobi Mazibuko, and I'm from Witbank. And like any other rebellious child, I used to be a problem in high school. We came up during Yizo. So we used to be a bit problematic.
Yizo, that's a TV
Yes,
program. Yeah.
yes. So there were two main characters there that really influenced our generation. So I was influenced by one of those bad guys. So we were just troublesome at school. But that was short-lived, wasn't long. And went to high school in Reno Park, Witbank. And I didn't finish my high school because I started working. I started gigging because I was doing gigs, drumming, and so I'd travel. I started missing school, and because I was making money, and I'm a kid, I'm thinking, why do I still need to be in school? Honestly, because I'm getting some money, although I'm not paying my own rent. I'm still remember now I'm a kid. I'm thinking I'm locked in, and at that time I'm making maybe $2,000 or something. And I thought, no, I just made $2,000. No, I'm not going to school anymore. So I started doing bad at school. I think I failed grade 11. And I went home and I was embarrassed because I was sort of a cool kid. Well, at least I thought I was at school. So I was embarrassed about going back to repeat grade 11. I'm like, no, I'm not going back to school. I'm gigging now, so it's fine. Let me just launch this career and let me lock in, So worst case scenario, my parents were both teachers in their time. So you're telling educators that you're quitting education or school is the craziest thing. So eventually they persuaded me to pursue something at Damlin, the business diploma, business management diploma at Damlin in Witbank. So I enrolled for that. That was the deal, that you could do your gigs as long as you get this diploma. So it's sort of like a business matric, because it's like a national senior certificate, but the subject there is economics, business management, office practice, that just the usual foundation that you'd need usually to run some sort of business. So I did that and continued to gig. And after that, from there, over the years, obviously trying and failing. I had so many concepts, so many business friends around me at the time. I think everyone where I come from at the time was interested. I think President Jacob Zuma, had just opened up this BE thing. So we got into the tendering thing, because he was like, no, let the boys eat. He opened it up, said, let the boys eat. Hey, so we chowed. And that's how we got into this
business,
this entrepreneurial journey. Yeah.
Now tell us about Zitholamo trading, because I think that's one of your startups, if you like. Tell us about that experience and what led to you incorporating such an entity.
So Zitholamo starts with me and an old friend, a former friend, whom we both started the company together. He was more of a graphics guy. So we just made up a logo real quick. We put together everything, went and registered the business. And because my dad at the time had a honeysucker, and it was always parked. He had a contract for it. After it was done, he just parked it and just continued with these other endeavors. And so we felt...
Those who don't know, honeysucker means just basically a sanitation truck, sort of more like a water truck,
yes,
but for
sanitation,
for sure.
for waste, yeah, for excrement,
specifically,
So we persuaded my dad to borrow us under the name of empowerment. Like, no, we just need you to. So now at this point, I've stopped schooling completely, and I'm gigging.
But you finished that diploma?
I didn't.
No.
It's funny enough. There's a pattern with me and school where I don't finish per se, and it became a challenge later in my life. Where when I rectified it, things began to change in my life, because it was. We'll get there. I think it was that attitude of not finishing things was consistent with even my ideas, even my initiatives. I would never finish them. I'd never see those things to the finish. So, anyways. So at this point, we persuade my dad, Ndala, we just want to, can you empower us? We want to do. So we get this subcontract under this guy. He was already in the business. He had all the certificates, the waste disposal, what. He had all the certificates. So we subcontract under him. Worked like dogs, because we were just excited and we were driven. Only to get knocked. We made no sense. Spent on diesel, traveling to power stations and just, servicing this guy's tasks, and, we got no pay. No pay at all. And I think that was
you raised an invoice, nobody paid?
The same guy, the main contractor, he never paid us. So we ended up... that we took that as our initiation into the world of business and entrepreneurship. If you don't have contracts, you're gonna get chowed. If you don't have, clear agreements, whether verbal or not, and you don't have a system in which you work by.
It's obviously preferable to have. I'll advise you as a lawyer. I would have advised someone to always make sure it's in writing.
Exactly. So that was a word of mouth thing. Oh, no, you got a truck. Okay, shop now. Got to okay, 1, 2, 3, go there. So we went there. We'd get access, service the places, get no money.
Yes.
But Zitholamo then we grew into actual office cleaning and industrial cleaning, and we got a contract with Eskom Gusile. This was in, I think, 2013. We got the contract, and we were young at the time, and this is a big contract. Like what? It's a couple of millions. Yeah, now we're locked in. We are moving. So we started, and under the mentorship of my mother, obviously, she said, "No, I will help you guys," and she funded us as well for the site establishment. We needed a few 100,000. She helped us, and we got going from there. Our contract grew. We started with 16 employees, and we ended up employing over 20 something, 30 something over a period of a couple of years. We got extensions, and from there we started building alternative buildings. We started trying to manufacture. I think the furthest we did was pine gel, as far as
pine gel.
As far as manufacturing our own cleaning chemicals. The rest we would buy and rebrand. So we'd buy chemicals in 25 liters, then rebrand into our smaller bottles with our name on it. And so we opened a shop downtown, started selling chemicals, hired a sales team, sales team, to go around taverns and schools and just selling the products, commission-based selling, with a bit of a basic income there, So we started doing that, and that inspired a lot of guys from our generation. Most of my friends who got into business were actually inspired by what we were able to achieve through Zitholamo. And unfortunately, over time, our differences as men, we ended up splitting.
With your partner?
Yeah. And things just, from there, everyone did their own thing.
Hopefully it was amicable.
No.
Oh.
I wish it was. It wasn't.
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't, yeah.
Okay, and it's probably something you don't want to talk about.
Out of protecting him, I don't want to be the one who has a platform and now I'm talking about him. No, I don't like to talk about it. No, do I like to entertain it, because it's a really unfortunate matter, and because we both had responsibilities, and and that decision is what he did was just out of character in a sense, but. If you ask him, he'll tell you something that I did that was out of character. There's always two sides to a story, so just out of respect for whatever the case may be on his side.
Let's leave it.
I don't like to talk about it, but I'll tell you this. I think, if anything, what I learned from it is if it's not a must to partner, don't. Don't. If it's not a must.
Another way of putting it is, if you can avoid it, partnership,
please
proceed without it.
By all means necessary, because...
but doesn't that end up limiting us?
It does, but it's based on risk for me. It can limit you, but you can outsource those expertise or services.
Yes.
So some people are ideas people. They come up with the ideas. Some can implement. It's always good when the team one is a doer, one is a thinker. This one thinks out the ideas, this one implements them. So it's perfect. That was the kind of combo we were. But upon our splitting, it forced him to do what I could do, and it forced me to do what he could do.
Okay.
And I think we both came out better people, better entrepreneurs.
As a result.
Yeah. So there is some positivity behind it.
Yeah, but you're really also at the heart of what you do, a professional musician. Is that right?
Yes.
Talk about the music and how you got hooked into it, and what you're doing with it now.
The music thing. Well, first of all, I'm firstly a musician before an entrepreneur, because I learned entrepreneurship. I saw it. That was the only thing I knew, because that's what I saw at home. But drums, music was something different for me. So that journey starts, I think, around 1996. I start playing at church. I start getting mentored by a big influence of mine in the music. Still one of my biggest brothers, Bafana Sugwini. He then mentors me, and he walks me through it. I eventually start playing at church and the main services over time, and then started playing professionally. Started building a name locally, linked up with a friend who we were able to sharpen each other, Mike. And from there, we were actually some sort of a myth at some point in our hood. We were like, hey, there's these two guys, those guys, they play, We adopted an American style of playing at the time. So no one was playing like that in our community, in our hood, in Witbank. So that gave us a...
What genre was that?
So that style is almost... We used to call it hip-hop drumming. Because of how you would treat the music and how you would accent toms and fills, but today it's pretty much the standard. So people play like that today.
Which is amapiano.
No. It's a style of drumming, so it's more technical than it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a more technical.
So it fits into different
drumming.
genres.
You could play it anywhere. Play it anywhere, depending on your application and your maturity as a musician. You can play it anywhere. So fast forward, anyways. I start playing professional. I start playing with artists, some major artists, national artists, and in 2015, me and my brother Mnqobi Mabaso, we come together and we both have different stories to how Tanj started, because we then came with a business idea. Well, it wasn't even business at the time. It was out of love that, look, let's do something like this. Let's bring people together. We both have ukazi, ngesizulu. So in English we were likable. We people are fond of us. We can bring people together with ease. So why don't we do something? And that's how we got into now promoting, from the music and playing on stage to now behind the scenes and promoting events.
Is there a specific company of yours that does that?
Yes, we have a company called Tanj Music Group. Tanj means it stands for, it's short for the All Night Jam. Yes, the All Night Jam experiment, and pretty much the foundation phase of it was to bring musicians together in one room, put a bunch of instruments on stage and have them jam impromptu. Nothing rehearsed, nothing planned, just world-class musicians showing why they are world-class. And I don't need to know this guy to play with him. We don't need to rehearse. And this would happen at the highest level. And
some music would actually spontaneously get created.
It was all spontaneous. Spontaneity. At the time, I used to call it magic. And magic is what today would call spontaneity, in my opinion. Because you don't know what you're going to do. You don't know what you're going to find, and you get there and boom. Just out of letting the situation take you, that spontaneity then becomes the magic. So it would be magic based. And yeah, I think today we are 10 years in. We're actually celebrating our 10th year.
Wow.
This year.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And we're trying to make it big. We've never had a sponsor until I think 2023. Then we started working with some brands. But before then, we've always, moved without sponsorship and just used our own pocket money. Would save up and use favors and relationships from chance can help us. We've never
and there's the aspect called the Tanj experiment.
Yes.
Is that a different company or it's still the same one?
It's the same one.
Okay.
So this is what's connected to the music. Yeah.
Now the Tanj experiment, how does it make money? How do you make Zaga?
Well, to be honest with you, I'll be honest with you, we've never made money from Tanj. It's always paid for its expenses, and that's about as much.
Break even.
Yes, it would break even, but breaking even, assuming that we get money, no. But break even that it takes care of its own affairs. Yes, we know Tanj has always brought us problems with our partners and at home, and whoever helps us with money sometimes. It's always brought us to a disagreement.
So is it fair to describe it as a labor of love or a passion project?
It's a labor of love. It is a labor of love, first of all. Passion project, definitely. There are areas in which we can exploit and make money. We are entrepreneurs. We see these areas. There's something about it. I don't know. You know, I mean, we could sell our own alcohol and make money.
Mm.
We could sell our own food and make money. We open it up for other people. Come and open a stall and sell your food.
So what would you say in the 10 years has been some of your greatest accomplishments as Tanj?
As Tanj.
Mm.
We've established a solid brand. I think it's always been the brand equity versus the monetary value. So we've managed to build a really strong brand, and today we are looking at actually doing other events outside of the banner or the concept rather of that all-night jam.
Mm.
Outside of that, we're actually putting together a Christian event, a gathering for pastors, and you know, so we're starting to look into the actual promoting of the events officially under Tanj, but not within the concept. Excuse me. Yes.
So the challenge, apart from monetary, what other challenges have you had?
Well, we've always struggled to source sponsorship. We've always looked, not that we looked everywhere. We've always set up a document, you know, to support us to sell the concept to people. We've applied for funding here and there, but it was never successful. I don't know.
Mm.
It was never successful. Today, well, this year rather, looks more promising than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to do something really big. We've got some sponsors in place. We're still going to seal the deal with other sponsors. And yeah, hopefully we can...
Has Tanj actually produced music, the kind of music you can sell, the kind of music you can maybe even register copyright over, that kind of thing?
I wouldn't say Tanj has produced music, but Tanj has produced musicians who do that.
Mm.
Because Tanj is an event, not a record company.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a nightmare to manage the admin and of everyone who's involved, and how we're gonna sell your song under Tanj, and then you are getting a share. To split the percentages of those songs, and it would be crazy. It would be a nightmare. I can't imagine where we would start, but we are working on producing content.
Mm-hmm.
So our gauge, they know they have the content.
Yeah.
We need the content, and then we can start producing that content, and then maybe, because now we're not in the era of DVDs anymore, we could have just heard a DVD every year. There's a Tanj DVD every year.
Mm.
So now we'd have to try and monetize YouTube.
Mm.
So we'd have to then get to the study of algorithms and
Yeah.
how do we make money through YouTube. You know, I honestly, I to date, I don't know. I hear people get money from views. I just can't wrap my head around it, how it works. Yeah.
Maybe you should give it a shot.
For sure, definitely. I'm interested in that business, because that's where everything is moving. So we would have to adapt or die.
Your other company is called East Rising Group.
Yeah.
First, I want to understand how the name came up, and then I want to know what it does.
Well, first of all, East Rising Group, because Mpumalanga is in the east of South Africa. That's the east side of the country. So, you know, Joburg has always been the New York of South Africa. I don't know how we look at Joburg. You know, there's always Pretoria. There's always these places that are much better than your hometown. And so out of the love of my area, being in Mpumalanga, my province, and specifically Witbank, my hometown, East Rising came out of that the East is rising. And at the time, I had this blueprint where I was going to create a network of entrepreneurs, bring them together, take care of each other's profits, and like create a business consortium. And that's how East Rising Group came about. Like, the East is rising now. We're going to take over, you know, the world. We're going to take over South Africa. We're going to take over the continent. And also, one of my mentors at the time, the late Pere Masego, he used to talk a lot about, we need to do something for the East. The East is slept on, you know. And he was actually one of the templates for us at the time, because he he was doing so well. He had a scaffolding company at the age of like 21. He was just doing so well. He had so many assets and so many resources at that young age, and so he was just a template for us. And he always spoke about the East. The East, we need to raise the East. We need to foster, entrepreneurship here at this level and take it all the way to the top. Joburg niggas think we are, sorry for the N-word, Joburg guys think they're the guys, we're going to come in and we're going to disrupt. So it was about being disruptors in industry and lifestyle.
Yes.
So that's how East Rising comes about, the name. And the business itself, the affairs of the business were at the time technical supplies. I had technical supplies, fuel supply, diesel, marine fuel. I tried to get into aviation, like Jet A1 fuel, and lubrications. But it's a tricky business that one. You're gonna die there. So I did some lubricants and fuel and all of that.
So what infrastructure did you have to come up with for that? Trucks, manpower. What kind of infrastructure did you have to create? Trucks, manpower?
Well, today you don't even need to own a truck, honestly. You just hire one. And deliver your stuff and then return the truck. You could lease it for a whole year if you want, I'm leasing a truck now. There's a truck I'm leasing somewhere else. And it's not mine. Although I have my own, but there's a truck I'm leasing somewhere else.
To add on to the...
So the infrastructure I had at the time, honestly, outside of certificates and permits, it wasn't much, because I approached it via the tenderpreneur style, where they tell you, they send you an RFQ, we need valves. So you quote the valves, you add your money, buy them from the OEM.
OEM?
Original equipment manufacturer.
Yes.
So you get them from the OEM, and then as soon as they arrive on the shores or customs, take your stuff, ship it straight to wherever you need to supply it. And that would be how that business worked. But I then tried to get into renovations because I saw my dad do it. And my parents are pretty much still doing it. Because when they started the guest house stuff, they would develop the properties. And so while you have a guest house, you're actually in real estate.
Yes, of course.
So while you're in real estate, you're actually in property development. So
the two go together, yeah.
So it would just open up everything. So I said, no, let me get into renos. Maybe they can give me a gig.
Renos as in renovations.
Yes, renovations.
Yes.
And but that never worked out well.
Still under the wing of the
East
East Rising, yes.
East Rising Group, yes. And then I started something called, under East Rising Group, the Come Up Millionaires, Young Millionaires Network, which was pretty much a training type of program that we had came up with to bring all the big guys in the East, big entrepreneurs.
But young millionaires, you're thinking
young millionaires.
At what levels? High school or
No,
tertiary?
Like tertiary. And then to have them, to give the young ones direct access to these ones, the big ones.
For mentorship purposes.
For mentorship purposes. And so the Come Up Young Millionaires Network didn't work out well because, these are the disadvantages of coming from a small town. People know who you are. People buy people. This is what I learned through my whole journey. Yeah. That people buy people. That's why sometimes I don't even like saying what I do. Because now someone who was supporting me, like, oh, that is you. You're done. Yeah. People buy people in this thing. So people like, okay, who's behind it? This is a great initiative. Who's behind it? Membership. Because there was a membership thing. Yeah. But I mean, it's people are not necessarily forced. How can I put this? People are short-sighted when it comes to the things that really matter, somehow.
So did it die a natural death?
It died a natural death I mean, I only had one event. Had some interesting stakeholders come there. Some people from government, some people from the youth department in municipality, some entrepreneurs, some people in construction, big industry people. They came, but the people that was meant for never came. So literally, we had about 6 hungry people in that whole auditorium. Those 6 people.
And you could state how many people?
Yeah, probably 1,000.
Okay, okay.
Probably maybe between 600 and 1,000.
And how many came?
About 6 people. Yeah, it was bad.
So it was a flop.
It was bad. I did everything to sell that event. I used social media to my advantage. I printed out. I did physical prints of pamphlets and stuff. I really did everything. I had the traction on social media, but none of it in real life. So that's another lesson I think I learned, that sometimes what you see on social media is not what you can't build a business based off your friends on social media or based off social media reception. Somehow you need to get them together. If you can assemble them somewhere, then you got something going. But if you can't assemble everyone you have on Facebook, I don't think
it doesn't work.
Yeah, although that. If your target market are your friends, of course, then you have a problem. But
for me, the idea has got overwhelming power and attraction. Didn't you perhaps give up a bit too soon?
I did.
Shouldn't we give it another shot?
Definitely, I'm willing to give it another shot. The people I partnered with as well, they were at the time, we were all just doing well. You make money that can keep you stable and can support your family and things. But today, some of them are giants. Giants. They're doing well in the mining industry. They have yellow plant. So I think even trying to run it back and trying it one more time wouldn't hurt anybody. Obviously, if I bring you on board, I think it'll work.
Well, I'll be happy to participate in whatever
awesome.
form.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
So what is the biggest thing now that East Rising Group is involved in?
No, currently, no. I'm trying to think. Right now, no. I haven't been trading with East Rising Group since 2022.
So you've shelved it?
I've shelved it now. The last thing I did was I ran a guest house of my own. I took up 2 bonds with two homes opposite each other and converted that into my own guest house. And I ran that under East Rising Group from 2018. Lockdown hit me, but it didn't affect me much because I had some contracts. I had some mine workers that stayed there, so they took care of me very well.
During COVID?
Yeah.
Wow.
During COVID, I was very soft. I lived a good life in COVID. And then after COVID, stuff started getting hard. I'm like, what? What is this reverse engineering thing here? I was nice during lockdown.
Yeah.
Now we're done with lockdown and things are taking a different turn, so that took a bit of a...
Yes, as someone...
It was a bit of a slippery slope, but...
Yeah. As someone who owns lodges and guest houses, I'm very curious about your business model and whether you still want to sustain it now. What can you explain the model and how you want to take it forward?
Well, I must say first that the one that I had, I ended up closing it down, and then but at the time they brought me in to run the family business, which would be the lodges, the guest houses, and what was the question again?
The business model. How did it work?
How? What about it?
How did it operate? The modus operandi.
Yes. My personal one. No. Well, it was simple. I had this. I was looking for contract clients. That's all I looked for. I didn't want the walk-ins and the food volume. that one is unpredictable. You know, you end up selling, you end up undervaluing your business because you're going to end up having these prices for people to come in for 1 hour and leave.
Yeah, no, that doesn't work.
That devalues the property because it costs just as much as the one who sleeps overnight. Those sheets have to be washed. It's labor, it's hours. They have to be ironed. It's electricity that you are using in that room. Whether you use it for an hour, it's going to cost me the same amount.
It also has a certain stench about it, reputationally.
It does. It doesn't sit well with... Didn't sit well with me. So my target, the model had always been go for contract clients. If you can get contract clients, it's for a longer period of time, one, and it's definitely you're getting money, you know, versus walk-ins. Some days you have 5 people. Then what? But contract people, they're there for months. So my model personally was to get contract clients, and I did well with contract clients until just didn't work anymore.
I described you earlier as a serial entrepreneur, and of course the fact that you also have Mvura Group emphasizes that point, that you come up with a business, you develop it, and then you move on to another business once that one is established. Let's talk about the Mvura Group, what it means, even the name, and what's happening with it.
This one is an interesting one because generally with all my businesses or my ideas, I create the logos before the actual business. I like to see something before it actually happens. So I created the brand and the logo and the Facebook page and the digital stuff and put it on there and just left it for years until 2023 when an opportunity arose. Then I said I'm gonna take it with both hands. So I went there and I took over that opportunity and started producing the water. I said, no, there's a brand available. So we then created the water, and today we're here. We have a plant based in Witbank. We have employed 100% youth, and we just, So
how big a plant?
Not big. I can produce as much as I want, but it's labor intensive because everything is manual. I haven't digitized anything. There's nothing that works automatically there. Everything has to be human generated, apart from the purifiers and the whatever machines. And so that one, and I took advantage of the fact that I have a borehole at the farm. So it's already spring water. I'm just refining it to the highest level and selling it. Because now people have a thing with, what do they call this? Dissolvable solids in water. People like to care, okay, so what are the dissolvable solids here? What are you saying, Chief?
And there's a thing called reverse osmosis. Is that what you do?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So reverse osmosis is a process of purifying water. So it goes through 2 membranes, the raw water membrane and the soft water membrane. And through high pressure and the UV light, you are able to eliminate any impurities from the water, which would be those dissolvable solids. And some people actually, now that I'm speaking about it, I just read something. Someone had a problem with water that is processed through reverse osmosis. I actually need to take a look at that article.
I haven't come across that.
No. But so reverse osmosis.
But I've heard someone talk about fluoride in the water.
There's
something wrong with fluoride. I don't know.
Yes. I need to actually look at it. I saw something similar. But I'll have a look at it. I don't want to speak on something.
You don't know.
Next thing I'm chowing my own business here because I'm using reverse osmosis. So Mvura means.
Yes, I was going to ask you that.
Yes, Mvura is Shona for rain. And my clan names are Mazibuko, Manzi Zulu, which would be rain.
Okay.
Because Manzi was Zulu being heaven.
Okay.
Manzi was rain water.
Since it's Tswana, of course, it's Pula.
In Shona it's Mvura.
Mvura,
Zulu is Mvula. So it's my clan name. It's it sounded cool when I because I have a legal employee from Zimbabwe. Legal, guys.
Yeah.
She's legal. She has a work permit, a passport, everything. I asked her. I said, "What's water in Shona? Shona, yeah."
Yes.
And she said, "No, Mvura." And she said it's a double. It's rain and water, depending on the context.
Yeah.
Then
Okay.
you'll be able to distinguish. Oh, she's talking about rain or
Yeah.
tap water. So that's how Mvura comes along. But also, it's my clan name, Amanzi Zulu.
It says here premium lifestyle water. What
Yes.
does that mean?
It means it's not your regular, bottle of water. It's meant to compete up there with the elite brands, the lifestyle brands. The brands that you find in places that are lifestyle related, like gyms, clubs. People use water to dash. If you position something as this is specifically for that, people are trying to, depending on how you sell it, obviously. But our target was to set ourselves apart and become more of a lifestyle brand and be more distinguished in that space and be able to play with our price.
Tastes kind of cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll have a taste.
Yeah.
So this is meant to, it's lifestyle because you don't question lifestyle. If I say it's lifestyle, then okay, that's why it costs $20. You don't question why lifestyle. Okay, nice. Yeah. So yeah, but we have this 500 milliliter, and we have a glassware version of this, which is the Mercedes. That's the AMG of
yeah.
Yeah, we have the glassware. I actually should have bought that, but because of how we set up today, it's just, so I was like, let me just take a pack and But yeah, we have really the Bentley of our brand.
How are the sales? Are we doing well?
We're doing very well. I have a client who has required 15,000 bottles a month. That is a very, very big number for us because we've never had to produce that much. We've always produced. We have clients who want 1,000 a week. And it's not retail. It's people in mines. They serve them to employees at the mine, so they send you something right now. We need 15,000 bottles within the next 2 weeks. So
you can't get it in typical retail outlets.
Not yet.
malls.
Not yet. As you can see, I need to set up the barcode, the batch number for the bottle, so they can trace the batch.
Okay.
Secondly, I really want to digitize the plant first. If I can step up or upgrade the resources that we have.
What does digitizing plant mean?
Using
robots taking over?
Not necessarily robots, but yes. Yeah, pretty much, unfortunately. Because you have these machines that refill the bottles, cap the bottles, apply the sticker, and seal the whole pack within seconds. And that would give me time, because that would be me maximizing on production time. That means I can sell more, I can push more numbers, versus the individual opening a tab and closing it, and you got just stations and people are just others are sticking, others are making mistakes. I mean, human error is inevitable. So we try to minimize the margin of error, and one of those ways would be to digitize.
Is it expensive to set it up?
It is
like that?
It is. The one quote I got was about 750,000 to buy cash. So, but you have these rent to buy options, and I prefer those because they're manageable. You're not in debt or anything. Just rent to buy, give them whatever they need monthly. As long as you've got a client that will give you that much. I mean, so like right now, I'm fortunate enough to have a client that can do that for me. So I'm actually in talks. I'm trying to get the machines at the plant as soon as I can.
You're obviously a young, dynamic entrepreneur going places. What did you say? And I recognize that you can't really go places without setbacks and challenges.
Sure.
What did you say are the most significant ones for you running these three interesting businesses so far? If I'm keeping track, Zitholamo is gone quite a bit. Tanj is on, and East
Tanj
Rising.
Tanj is moving.
Tanj is moving.
Yeah.
East Rising is moving. Mvura is certainly exploding.
Yes, indeed. What was the question concerning?
The question is the unique challenges.
The unique challenges.
And if there are any setbacks.
Yes. Well, financial literacy is one of the biggest challenges I think all entrepreneurs face, especially if you don't have the education and you don't know how to manage your money or steward your money, because the Bible calls us to steward.
Yes.
Such things as money. So I think one of the biggest challenges for me is really managing money accordingly. I do well, and I do have some days where I struggle. Like, damn, like I don't have the discipline. So the lack of discipline is one of those challenges. Money illiteracy is another problem, a challenge that I think I've faced over my journey, and
but that's a curable problem.
it is definitely.
And what are you doing to fix it?
I've enrolled in school to be able to manage those affairs, but I'm dabbling because I'm also studying other things with other institutions, that are not business related, but I'm studying. So I'm just trying to,
are you not surrounding yourself with experts who know these things?
I have now, one of them being my mother. I've never seen someone use money like my mother. She knows how to make money work for her. She knows how to save money. She knows how to spend money.
So it helps to be a second generation entrepreneur.
It does. I think that's my lifeline. It's my lifeline. I've never had to go to a bank because of that, first of all. But also, and except for the time when I took the bonds in 2018. But outside of that, I've always had the mentorship in close range. Although I may rebel sometimes. Our biggest fight now between me and her is always how I handle my money. Like, hey, when I'm on, I don't like the way you manage your money, man. No, man. I mean, really, come on, guy. 1, 2, 3, So, I do struggle there. I think most entrepreneurs who are honest, especially my age, who are young, who are halfway through life, they struggle with what I struggle with. Some have the discipline, depending on obviously the background and how you were raised. Some people don't want to play with opportunities because they take them that serious. And then I'm not going to take this lightly. I have something that's giving me money now, and I'm not going to play with this money and then learn the hard way. I'm going to take this opportunity now to learn to steward this money, to invest it, and So
do you typically invest back into the business?
Yes.
You don't believe in saving and piling it up?
No, I don't save much, but I do like to invest back into the business, and that has worked in many instances, because that's why sometimes I have stockpile. I like to have stockpile because it gives me a comfort, definitely. So, yeah.
You mentioned your mother. I think this is a good time to talk about her in terms of appreciating her mentorship and appreciating the impact that she has had in your life as a business person. Do you want to give her her flowers at this time?
For sure. Hopefully she's gonna watch this. I know she's gonna watch this anyways.
Yeah.
So, to her, thank you for everything, Makoko. I think without your presence, just being there, never mind the lessons, just you being there alone has been a necessary part of my life. Although sometimes I don't thank her enough. Sometimes I don't even say thank you, because it's like, it's my mom,
So what are the key lessons you picked from her?
Never to be comfortable. No, she's past 65 and she's still studying. She's still running around. She's still got her endeavors. She's just all over. At 65, she doesn't want to rest. Right now we're fighting about her resting. Like, just take a rest. Like, no, just you do this and then I'm doing that. And, you know. So she's just never comfortable. That's one of the biggest things I've learned from her. Never be comfortable. You know, I like to look at boxers and how they always say, keep dancing in the ring. Stay on your toes. Don't be flat-footed. Don't be comfortable in this ring. You're going to get knocked out. Don't be comfortable. So one of the biggest things that I've learned from her, because she doesn't like to be comfortable. She's always working. I don't know why. Old people should be resting.
No, I don't believe that. Rest, premature rest leads to death.
Well,
you were made to be active. We're made to be, we're creatures of action. The minute you start, I always point out to people, like, look at the fact that Moses started his ministry at age 80. And then for 40 years he was active. And there's so many other examples. Your current president of America will soon be 80, if I'm not mistaken, 79, 80. The one who just left was in his early 80s. These people are performing at the highest level because they have experience, they have expertise. Warren Buffett, you know, he's 94, he's still running one of the biggest companies in the world. The only time you should rest is when you undermine yourself and think that you rest for what? I mean, you sit in the beach for 30 minutes and you look around and say, what am I doing here?
No, you rest and you do old people stuff.
No, there's no such thing. You'll find out when you are there, because I turned 60 recently. You'll find out for yourself that there's no such thing. It's a myth. Sure. It's just a scam. I mean, it's like retirement. It's a scam.
Let me tell you how I look at it, and hopefully I can make sense of this perspective that I have. So, the average human being lives for up to 70, 75 years on average.
Yeah, I'd say 80. Yeah, 75 to 80. Yeah.
80 you really like. You're blessed.
You're
blessed. So on average, about 70, 75. So which means by the age of 35, you're halfway through life. And if you break down your life in this sense, how many hours do you spend on traveling? Whether it's holiday or work, or you put those hours together, you have maybe like 4 years of traveling left in your life, or 10 years. Entertainment, TV, your phone, going to a soccer game, until you're 70 from now. You put that together. Although it may be in minutes or in hours today, but in the next 35 years, you put that together, you have about 8 years of entertainment left in your life. We have 4 and 8 now, you have 12 out the way. Right? 12 years out. So how many years do you have left from that 35? Then you take church, or, well, not church, something else. Whatever else may be.
I agree
business,
with you.
Work.
I agree with you, but the law of averages that you are using assumes that the average age is 75. So why do you assume yourself to be average? If you're a successful entrepreneur, you always think you are way above average. You always hope for the best, and you aim for the highest. So if its average is 75, that means the end point is probably 110 or whatever point. The low point is maybe 50. So why are you planning on the basis of average? I've read a couple of books. A book called The Enemy Called Average. So average is the enemy, but that's a debate for another time.
Yeah.
It's
I hear
it's you who's being.
This is interesting.
Yeah, it's you who's being interviewed. Sir. It's not me.
No, we have to get into this one after this.
Yeah.
But, so my thinking is.
So we can debate that one.
Yeah. So just quick one. My thinking is, using that average, you'll find you have about 20 years of years for yourself left.
Yes.
So
why should I waste it sitting?
No, my thing is I want to spend those years doing something wholesome, like missionary work, seeking God, seeking more, because I'm getting ready to dip.
You include God in whatever you do.
But
anyway.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest lesson. What about your dad? What did you pick from him? Because I know he's your hero. He's your hero as well.
Resilience. That guy is resilient. He's a man amongst men. That's the template I have as a man. My dad is my template. I've never seen him beat my mom. He's never done it. I've never seen him. Look, man, that guy he's something else. I really appreciate him. You know, he really loved what he loved. Let me put it that way. My dad made sure that everything he had to do was done by 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock is done. He's in pajamas. He's chilling at home waiting for his food in slippers. And I don't know who gets things done that quickly or that accurately. If, for example, I used to do some work with him, right? And if I'd have to go home and pick him up, and then we drive to wherever, and he would be so angry if you were late by like an hour or 30 minutes, because everything he does is time. He's thinking, by 3 I need to be at home, my brother. Right now you're going to cost me to be there at 4 or 5. I don't like this. So he was just, he loved what he loved. And he really supported me. My dad really went to all my first really big gig. My dad was there. He was there. He bought me food. He brought me McDonald's. I had McDonald's on stage there as a kid, you know. So I'll never forget those type of moments. He's very supportive dad, but very resilient. And I appreciate his resilience. And he was very commanding in terms of his presence and what he wants done. He was a very, very stern man.
That's very good.
Yeah.
It's very good. That's why you turned out so beautifully.
Thank you so much.
It's because of him. Let's talk about the Vakasha Guest Lodge. What is its current status, and what are your plans for it?
Yes, Visit Vakasha Guest Lodge is
It's Visit Vakasha.
Yes, Visit Vakasha Guest Lodge. My mom came up with this name. I guess visit is the English word for Vakasha. So if visit squared.
Yeah.
Visit Vakasha.
What language is that?
It's Zulu.
Zulu, yeah,
It's
Vakasha.
visit,
Yeah.
So that's the current family business. It's taking care of the family. It's a guest lodge. My mom and my dad started that at I think around 2006. They started Visit Vakasha, and my dad is late now. My mom is still around. She's left it to us now, the kids. So I'm spearheading the lodge, and she leaves it with me. She has left such a big shoes to fill. We've got about, the 3-star establishment has about 28 rooms. The 4-star has 9 rooms, if I'm not mistaken, and the backpacker, which is a hostel sense, has over 78 rooms.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it's a massive establishment. Where is it located?
In Emalahleni, in Witbank, Mpumalanga. Yeah.
What are your plans for it?
I'm trying to turn it into a hotel. Reputable hotel that can compete with the big guys, your Anu or Protea. Well, Protea is no longer. Protea still exists. It's
I don't know.
Anu bought them.
Yeah.
So Anu, your Garden Courts, so we do have some affiliation with your Toho Sons and them, and I think through those type of affiliations we were able to realize the possibility of converting this guest house establishment into an actual hotel.
Yeah.
And so it will take some sort of strategizing, because we've already been approved to become a hotel.
Yeah.
The municipality approved that type of in the area in which we want to build. So soon enough we'll look into that project.
We are 30-something years post-apartheid, and some people would say that the shackles of that old era still affect them in business. What is your take, and do you still think we're still under the yoke or the remnants of the yoke of apartheid in business? To
a certain extent, yes. Whilst we are free to trade, there are industries that are monopolized, that are gate-kept. Like the mining industry. It's not easy for black people to really get into a mine and get some work there and develop yourself. It's not easy. It's in fact, one instance where someone said, and this was a white guy, he said, no, go to ESCOM, guys. The mines are preserved for the whites. Chow there. Go to Transnet. Go to the state entities. Leave us here, you know. So but that goes to show for me that some industries are gate-kept, and sometimes banks don't support.
They're a bit gate-kept as well.
Yeah. Black people still have problems with banks. They don't get approved for business loans or homes or just to build an office space, but they'll get approved for Golf 7. They'll get approved for BMW, but never the things that really count, you know. A friend of mine, a cousin of mine, he used to work for a mine, and him and this colleague of his who is white in the same position, they actually bought the same cars, different colors and whatever. A C-Class, Mercedes C-Class, I think it was a C200. And he had a problem with the interest rate that he got versus this guy. And he said, we earn the same amount of money.
Same
My
environment.
credit score is fine. I have all the credit I need. And he's got good credit. I'm seeing it today. That, no, this guy has good credit.
Yeah.
But he had a problem with the interest rate, which he
was charged more.
He was charged more. You know, and that goes to show that there's something there. But outside of that, no, we really are free. Some of the oppression is in the mind now. It's just the small institutions here and there, like the mining industry and the banking and maybe the aviation. I don't know. I tried to get in there. It didn't work. It was very hard. Someone said, hey, you're going to die here. These white guys, they don't play. These old white guys. I said, the old white guys here. Because you hardly see anybody. They don't even show up anyway, you know. So maybe I think some industries are hard to get into due to that apartheid thing. But no, most of the oppression is in our minds now. And I think that's what counts. If you can free your mind and think and do what you have to do, I think.
And I wonder, I mean, Bob Marley sang about it, emancipate yourself from mental slavery. How do we emancipate ourselves? I mean, Bob Marley has said it so many years ago. It still seems to be the legacy of slavery, the legacy of apartheid, seems to be so strong.
Well, the thing is, first of all, the world government or whoever is involved in controlling people's minds, they have never stopped.
Yeah.
They've always, the war of the mind has always been an ongoing war. They use artists, they use our favorite artists, they use food, they use chemicals, they use television, they use movies, they use all of these things to shape the mind of a human being, especially the kids. They use cartoons, they desensitize us through. I mean, you look at, I'll just make a quick example. You look at the first time we had a gay scene on South African television. It was through generations. The reaction then versus today, you know, people were desensitized over time. Before you knew it, every show had a homosexual man or homosexual woman. Now we're desensitized. The feminism thing, it was introduced through television. You have a woman leading a home and towering over a man or dominating men, the queen, the river. It's songs, all the singing ladies, all the singing. It's always something that they use to declare war on the mind, right? But for us to free ourselves, we have to go back to the Holy Scriptures. Renew your mind and do not conform to the ways of the world. So the question is, how then does one renew their mind? How do you unplug from the matrix? It's through the intentional 360 turning of one's mind. Where you decide, I am no longer going to think along these lines. I am no longer going to speak like this. This is actual work. I imagine it feels like withdrawal symptoms for someone who was into drugs, getting rid of your old ways. being ready to let go of that perspective, those principles that you thought made you, whatever you thought gave you identity, whatever you thought made you, you have to be willing to give that up. That is the renewal of the mind, to say those principles are dead to me. That could have been a lie. It could have been right now I think a man must beat a woman. You grew up believing this, you understand? So to change from that would be you realizing that is a toxic trait, it is a crime, and it is not healthy for any relationship. Therefore you start to change your actions intentionally.
Now let's talk about your businesses. Very soon I'm sure we'll hear you hitting that billionaire mark very soon.
Very soon.
Yes, and we remain very, very optimistic that it'll be sooner rather than later. I want to know what you project in terms of 20, 30 years for your business. Can you grab that crystal ball and look into the future?
Actually, this is a conflict of, for me, it clashes with my perspective. But I understand the context in which you're asking me this question. It's just that I always like to, this is the renewal of the mind thing. I always see things from that perspective, where my future is not on earth. It's when my spirit leaves my body. What am I doing today to ensure that I have eternal life? Is to believe in the Holy. So that's the future for me. But in this context, I honestly see myself.
It's in the Habakkuk 2:2 context, writing the vision and running with it. The vision.
There we go. I see myself developing people. I really like to help people. I have a passion for entrepreneurship. I have a passion for coaching. I have a passion for mentoring. And I see myself empowering people. That's what I want to do. I want to help people get to a good place. I need the right support. I need to be set up accordingly. I need to do the right things. There's certain things that I need to get right, so I could be in a position to do that, you know. But for now, what I can do, I'll do definitely. But I see myself developing entrepreneurs, helping people develop multi-million-dollar businesses. No, that's where I see myself. I have templates that cater for this. I have blueprints at home that are sitting, waiting for me to implement them. I always have blueprints. When I sit and I'm on my phone.
Maybe you're going to share one with us now. I don't know.
What? I don't. I'm afraid they might get stolen. Okay. I want someone stealing these ideas. I'm sorry, but I really do have groundbreaking blueprints, and I believe these are God's answers to my prayers. I believe God answers us through inspiration and ideas. Well, one of the ways. And I believe that today you pray for a breakthrough, and later you get an idea. That's the breakthrough. Grasp the idea, run with it, unpack it, bring community in there, community you trust. Let's work on this, gents. Let's, if for advice sake, for mentorship, bring people who have the expertise. So I'm afraid ngalaoma blueprints, because I'm just like, I want to protect them. I want to preserve them, but yeah.
What about going continental or even regional, expanding your businesses there?
I really do want to do that.
Come into Botswana, for instance.
I that's one of my goals, to be continental, to cross borders. I had a blueprint for a security company and was meant to do contract work with militaries, government militaries. It's those type of things that I want to get out there and do cross-border business, and like this Mvura thing, I already have it in Botswana just by sitting here. We're discussing numbers. We are moving this thing to Botswana. We'll work out the stakes. And we are moving. We need to set up a warehouse there, set up a plant, or else get a truck, ship cases.
Yes, it's doable.
Yeah, it's very doable.
Yeah. All right. That's really brings us to the end of our conversation. And it's an opportunity for you to ask me a question, if you have one.
I do. What would you... Hey, but now you were tough, so this is... you were tough from when you were young, clearly. Now, earlier I wanted to ask you, I was thinking, because I was basing it based on my life, so I wanted to ask you, what would you... How would you have done things? What would you advise the 20-year-old you?
Mm-hmm.
And what would you have done differently today based on the advice you would have you would give yourself then, today?
Look, as I grew up and I found mentors in life, one of my mentors that I talk about in the book is a man called Manha Muni. And he tells a story of how he started in business at age 11. And then I read where also Warren Buffett said he started at age 11. So I only, started personal development, reading, self-development, being conscious about what I want to do around age 28, in a very systematic way. Prior to that, I was just happy to be a successful lawyer, drive flashy cars and things like that. So if there's any regret, is that I should have started what I did at age 28 a little earlier. Be more conscious, be more deliberate, and I think I would be more further than I am. The only consolation I have is where the same Warren Buffett, they reflect that at 60, what he had at 60 constitutes 1% of what he now has at age 94. So I'm saying to myself, maybe it's not too late. Maybe it's not too late. I should not regret too much. But if there's something that I would have to change, which I've really worked on with certainly two of my kids. I didn't do it with the first two, but I did with the last two. I got them to read and to be avid readers, where I bribed them ethically to say, you read this book, let's discuss it. Here's $200, here's $300. And that has, the last two have turned out different from the first two because of that. So by way of regret and by way of advice to my younger self, start early. Start being conscious early about your personal development and your readership. Yeah. I hope I've answered your question.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
No, I think you should be my mentor. I tell you why. You know what you did with your kids? My parents did this with us.
Yeah.
They would pay us to read books.
Yeah.
If you finish this, if you tell me what this book is about, I'll give you $300.
Yeah.
What?
That system works brilliantly
Yeah.
because you're going to give them the money anyway.
Yeah.
So
anyways.
tight, yeah.
But there's one thing that I want to do with my kids that my parents did with us. They in high school they wouldn't give us money for pocket money. So what my mom did one time, she bought these chips, botabompegi and skopas. These are these snacks that they sell at Lokshin. And she said, sell these, package these, sell these, and make your own money for pocket money in school, and save enough to buy more chips.
Yeah.
So obviously, we kids, we charged the stock. We didn't make money, we charged the stock.
Yeah.
Second time, she gave us another shot, and then we'd go around there in our community just selling so that we can have $20 tomorrow at school.
Yeah, that's cool.
So I want to do that with my kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, but wow, man, you
go for it.
You're an amazing. The conversation we've had is crazy earlier. So
yeah. Now, as we conclude, look at that camera and leave the viewer with one final motivational snippet or message as we wrap up. Look at that camera, sir.
I think the best thing I could say, the wisest thing I could ever say to anyone is this: never allow yourself to be comfortable, and always seek God, and everything else will follow. That's it for me.
That's brilliant. Now, do you want to share all your contacts, even on social media and elsewhere?
Yeah, sure thing. On Instagram, at Bayede_drums with a Z. And on Facebook, Mnqobi Bayede Mazibuko. And those are the platforms. Okay, on TikTok as well, I'm Bayede Drums with a Z. And
Wow. Thank you very much.
And please follow Mvura as well. Mvura
Yeah.
Premium on Instagram.
Okay.
Mvura_premium.
Okay.
Please.
And don't forget to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. But as we conclude, let me formally thank you, sir, for giving so generously, for sharing so passionately. You've enriched our program. You've enriched the podcast. And we really, really appreciate you. God bless you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.